And to help us break down the latest developments over at the House, we are joined by Ellie San Fernando of the Manggagawa Party List. Good morning, Kong Ellie. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, Miss Pauline. Magandang umaga rin po sa mga tagapanood sa inyong programa.
Okay, so first of all, Kong Ellie, ano po ba ang reaksyon nyo now that the proposed National Minimum Wage Bill has been approved already sa committee level?
We are really happy, Miss Pauline, that after 36 years, finally, tumawid na sa committee level itong panukalang batas to reform our wage fixing mechanism. And this is a bold step from our regional wage fixing mechanism towards a more rational and more logical national minimum wage system.
Pero Kong Ellie, for you, enough ba, sapat ba yung measure na to to address yung matagal na nating alam na pangangailangan ng mga Filipino workers?
Yes, alam niyo kasi ang current wage fixing mechanism na meron tayo, regional So kaya may mga regional wage. At for so long, since the enactment of RA 6727 noong 1989, hindi nag-respond yung wage fixing mechanism natin doon sa needs ng mga manggagawa, particularly yung nakasulat sa constitution natin, the right of workers to living wages. Problema natin sa wage fixing mechanism na meron tayo, yung mga sahod sa probinsya, talagang barat na barat. Say for example, yung mga katabi na mga bayan o mga probinsya ng Metro Manila, we are talking about Antipolo, Cavite, Rizal, yan. Sa Metro Manila, you're earning 695 pesos as minimum wage. Tumawid ka lang ng isang kalye, ang pagitan lang ay puno, pader, isang street lang. Kung nasa Rizal ka, from 695, tatawid ka lang sa Rizal, ang sahod mo ay nasa around 550 to 600 pesos na lang. Same goes with Cavite. At ang problema pa dyan sa current wage fixing mechanism na meron tayo, the law says regional wage fixing mechanism. Ibig sabihin per region. But when you go to provinces, ang nangyayari is municipalization. So isang probinsya na nga, magkakaiba pa yung sahod from within those provinces. So kaya ina-address nitong consolidated bill ng nagpo-propose ng national minimum wage, itong problema ng current wage fixing mechanism, and that this will address the long-standing problem of workers when it comes to purchasing power at yung pag-address doon sa prevailing inequality per region sa mga manggagawa.
Oh, kasi alam naman natin na Kong Ellie, ang inflation patuloy pa rin na umaakyat. Kaya nahihirapan din talaga sumabay itong mga manggagawa. Nahihirapan sila tapos may discrepancies pa pagdating sa mga wages in different provinces. But with this bill that has been passed at the committee level, are you satisfied with it or may mga amendments pa kayong gustong i-propose?
The beauty of the consolidated bill, yung approved substitute bill, is that it incorporated yung mga concerns. It addresses the concerns of businessmen. Second, nagbibigay siya ng sapat na panahon to implement the law, should it pass and become a law. And third, yung proposal, yung kung ano yung nai-envision ng mga manggagawa na wage fixing mechanism nandoon na. So mabilis lang dito sa consolidated na bill, number one, we exempt yung micro businesses. So if the concern is baka maapektuhan naman ito yung mga micro businesses, hindi po kasama yan, exempted, very clear po yan diyan sa panukalang batas. So micro businesses refer to establishments with 10 workers and below and asset or financial capitalization of 3 million and below. Ito yung mga sari-sari store, ito yung mga barbershop, ito yung mga maliitan na mga negosyo. So hindi po yan kasama, and we made it very clear na hindi kasama ang mga micro-enterprises. Second, should this pass into a law, hindi naman agad-agad bukas i-implement yan. Merong 3 taon na period, transition period, para i-close yung gap ng mga sahod sa mga rehiyon papunta ng Manila rate. And afterwards, doon mabubuwag yung mga regional wage boards at magkakaroon ng mas pinalakas na National Wage Commission. And third, yung doon sa mga patungkol doon sa mga manggagawa, ang gusto kasi natin, halimbawa, nawala na yung regional wage rate, yung provincial rates. Ang gusto natin, i-determine yung sahod according to industry, not to geographical location. So, hindi magkakaroon pa rin ng industry tripartite wage and productivity board wherein all industries should come up with the floor o yung wage, yung minimum wage. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng mga magkakasama sa service sector, regardless of where you are in the Philippines, because you are part of the same industry, dapat pare-parehas din yung sahod nyo. Same with manufacturing and other industries. This will make the wage fixing mechanism more rational. Kasi yung 1989 wage fixing mechanism natin is irrational. So yun yung mga mahalagang bahagi dito sa naaprubahan na consolidated bill about national minimum wage.
Kung Eli, ako curious ako dun sa nabanggit nyo na wages will be based sa industry. Paano yung magiging dialogues dyan? So how will you be determining per industry?
Yeah.
Kung ano ba dapat yung nararapat na minimum wage?
Yeah, ang problema kasi sa regional wage fixing mechanism na meron tayo, hindi niya nasasagot yung question na throughout the years, labor productivity and economic productivity, gross domestic product, throughout the years, pataas yan eh. But when you look at the wage rates from 2001 to 2024, hindi nagtatranslate yung increase in labor productivity and gross domestic product doon sa pagtaas naman ng share ng manggagawa sa production.
Right.
Tapos pag tinignan natin yung per region, pataas ng pataas yan. Yung regional gross domestic product, regional labor productivity, always pataas. So there is a fundamental problem with that. Ngayon, dito sa proposal, may twin bill pa kasi itong panukalang batas natin. Dito sa proposal natin, instead of regional wage boards, yung RTWPBs na tinatawag, we will create an industry tripartite wage and productivity board. So meron pa ring productivity board na mag-uusap. So dito mas magiging rational at mas logical yung pagde-determine ng minimum wage rates throughout the Philippines. Kasi dahil ito ngang regional wage boards, dinidetermine yung sahod according to location. Pinapatunayan na nga ng datos na kalokohan yan. Yung cost of living argument, matagal nang debunk. Ang magpe-prevail na lang ay yung rent, no? Yung presyo ng rent and real property prices. Sa mga probinsya, talagang relatively mas mura. But when you take a look at the prices of basic commodities and services, it's almost the same. Or kung mas mura man sa probinsya, we are just talking about 5 pesos, 10 pesos.
Right.
We are not talking about hundreds of pesos. So through this industry wage fixing mechanism, mas nako-correct niya yung wage fixing mechanism na meron tayo. And this is more logical. Why? As long as the regional wage fixing mechanism persists, yung local economy natin will suffer because napupwersa niya yung mga manggagawa at yung lokal na ekonomiya na hindi mag-grow. Ang baba ng sahod, say for example in Bicol. So the local economy in Bicol will not grow or aabot niya lang yung certain level dahil yung mga manggagawa, which are the consumers themselves also, hindi napakababa ng purchasing power. So when you increase wages of workers in the provinces at i-determine yan batay doon sa panukala natin na Industry Wage and Productivity Board, mas nabibigyan mo ng mas mataas na purchasing power yung mga manggagawa, thus benefiting the local economy and in the long run will benefit our whole economy. So ito yung kaya tinitignan namin ito na isang major reform pagdating sa wage fixing mechanism that will address itong mga concern ng mga manggagawa patungkol sa sahod at doon sa kanilang kakayahan na bumili ng mga produkto at serbisyo.
No, maganda talaga kung Eli, no, yung industry mechanism because workers will then get a share of the gains kasi sila na din naman talaga yung dahilan, yung rason kung bakit lumalago yung kanilang industriya. Okay, but what is the biggest hurdle you're seeing in getting this bill passed into law?
Well, the concern of big business groups, nag-submit na kasi sila ng kanilang position paper, is that they oppose this measure, saying that the current wage fixing mechanism that we have is working and more rational. Nung committee hearing nga, nung committee deliberations, we have pointed out that the current wage fixing mechanism is irrational and in the long run, it will hurt the businesses. So, pero ang kagandahan dyan, from one of the hearings during the committee deliberation about this bill, sabi naman ng representative from the Employers Confederation of the Philippines is that they are open to discussing with us their reservations or apprehensions about this bill. Kami naman willing and we will be more than happy to present to them our models. So yun yung pinaka-hurdle nito kasi the national minimum wage bill will enter now into plenary debate, and thus we are imploring first the House leadership na i-prioritize ang pag-uusap dito sa panukalang batas na ito. So yun lang ang ina-expect natin na hurdle or challenge dito. Sure tayo na baka haharangan ito ng mga malalaking negosyante. Pero ready naman tayo na makipagdebate at i-address yung mga fears and concerns nila about this bill.
Wow, nako, Kong Eli, I'm sure maging mahaba pa yung mga talakayan dyan. But as you mentioned, this is still a big win, lalo na sa ating mga manggagawa. But before we let you go, Kong Eli, baka we can get your thoughts na rin dito sa proposed bill ni Congressman Sandro Marcos naman na no work, no pay daw sa mga lawmakers. Ano po ba ang posisyon nyo doon?
We fully support the presidential son and our majority floor leader. Napakaganda po ng panukalang batas ni Representative Sandro Marcos. It's high time that we introduce such reform in Congress. Alam niyo, sa totoo lang, dapat automatic na yan. Pag no work, no pay ka. Kasi ang mga manggagawa sa pribadong sektor, pag di pumasok, walang sahod. Pag na-late, bawas. Pag nag-OT, kadalasan nga, wala ngang OT pay. What makes us so special? Yan yung binabanggit ko Ano bang espesyal sa mga congressman? And this will address the problem, the long-standing problem of absenteeism. Huwag na tayo maglokohan. Ang daming mga absenerong mga congressman tsaka mga senador ni hindi mo makita yung kanilang anino sa plenary for such a long time, and then kapag malapit na magtapos yung termino, doon na lang magpapakita. So this is a disservice. Yung ganitong sistema is a disservice to the Filipino workers and the taxpayers. Imagine, congressmen are earning 300,000 a month SG, salary grade 31. Pero kahit umabsent sila, hindi sila magpakita, hindi mag-report sa duty, makukuha ng buo yung kanilang benepisyo at mga sahod. Hindi ba napakapangit naman na mensahe yun sa mga manggagawa? So kaya itong no work no pay na panukalang batas ni Representative Sandro Marcos is a good step, especially at this point in time na yung institusyon namin ay beleaguered. Napakababa ng tiwala ng mga tao sa Kongreso. We must start reforms from within ourselves. Umpisahan natin dito sa usapin ng sahod. Some will say, hindi naman dyan kumikita ang mga congressman sa sahod. Yung iba naman, iba ang pinagkakakitaan. Still, this is a good step para magkaroon ng lively debates, plenary debates. Ang problema, alam nyo, pag nasa plenary ako, iilan na lang kami na nandoon Wala pa sa 20. Yung mga congressman, di ba? Paano magkakaroon ng masigla at masayang debate at paano magiging productive yung mga deliberation sa Kongreso kung puro absent yung kasama namin. So we support and we will rally behind the proposal of House Majority Leader Sandro Marcos.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see rin kung Ellie, no, kung ito ba isusuportahan din ng ibang mga lawmakers natin, lalo na yung mga panay absent dyan sa Kongreso. Nako. But we're gonna leave that there for now. Thank you very much for sharing your
Thank you.
insights with us.
Thank you.
That was Congressman Ellie San Fernando of the Kamanggagawa Party List. Maraming salamat po.